Saul Canelo Alvarez, 61 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, will defend his 168 pounds super middleweight championship against Edgar, the chosen one Berlanga. 22 wins, 0 defeats, on Saturday the 14th of September. Now you can see on this graphic it states that this is for the undisputed super middleweight championship, but in fact this is incorrect, as the IBF made a decision several weeks ago to strip Canelo of the championship due to him failing to defend against his mandatory challenger, William Skull. Canelo goes into this fight as a heavy favourite to retain his championship, and in our opinion, rightfully so. While Edgar Berlanga showed much promise early on in his career, impressively knocking out his first 16 opponents, not only knocking them out, but doing so in the very first round. However, since the knockout stopped, a few holes in his game were exposed, and the commotion around him has been subdued quite a bit. After going back to the drawing board and making improvements over the last 2 years, his star seems to be rising again, and in his latest performance, he looked good in taking out the previously unbeaten Padraig McCrory in the 6th round. That being said, this fight does seem to have come too soon for Berlanga. Most people are only giving him a puncher's chance, as the likelihood of him winning a decision is extremely slim. What can he bring to the table that Canelo's previous opponent, Jaime Munguia, couldn't? Jaime Munguia had much more experience than him at the championship level, and while Berlanga probably hits harder than Munguia, is there anything that Canelo hasn't dealt with before? Does Berlanga hit harder than Triple G or Sergey Kovalev? Unlikely. And Berlanga doesn't have the pure boxing style and defensive skills of a Floyd Mayweather, a Ruslan Lara, or a Dimitri Bivol. 3 guys whose style of fighting gave Canelo many problems in previous fights. As for Canelo, many feel he shouldn't have too many problems stopping Berlanga inside the distance. His last stoppage victory surprisingly came 3 years ago against Caleb Plant, but unlike Jaime Munguia, he doesn't seem to respect or like Berlanga at all, so he should be looking to take it out on him come September 14th. Canelo is now 34 years old, and while that doesn't seem old for boxers in today's modern age, we have to remember he made his pro debut in 2005. That's 65 fights in almost 20 years of fighting. All those hard training camps over the years will take its toll on anybody. We've seen over the years many fighters seemingly get old overnight. And while Canelo has seemed to have lost a slight step from his peak of around 4 or 5 years ago, he certainly showed in his last outing that he has more than enough left to take out Berlanga. If Berlanga goes into this fight with an all-or-nothing attitude, fights like he has nothing to lose, it could make for an interesting fight. Otherwise, it should be a relatively standard night of dominance for Canelo.